My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 28 years old, and I work as a physical therapist at a rehabilitation clinic outside Columbus, Ohio. Last Thanksgiving, my parents looked at my 7-year-old daughter, Emma, and calmly told me there wasn't a place for her at the family table. Not because the table was full. Not because they had forgotten to set another plate. Because, according to my mother, she doesn't really belong here. I remember staring at the empty dining chair leaning against the kitchen wall. It had been there all morning. Someone had made the choice not to bring it into the dining room. At the time, I thought that chair was the cruelest thing I'd noticed that day. I was wrong. Before dessert was served, one guest quietly pushed back his plate, stood up, and refused to eat another bite. What happened after that forced a truth into the open that my family had spent years carefully protecting. I didn't understand any of it then. I only knew Thanksgiving would never look the same again. But before I tell you how one untouched meal unraveled decades of silence, welcome to the channel. If you enjoy thoughtful family stories about hidden truths, difficult choices, and the quiet moments that change everything, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and let me know where you're watching from. Now, let me take you back to the beginning. The week before Thanksgiving had felt ordinary. At work, I spent my mornings helping patients relearn simple movements after surgeries and injuries. Recovery teaches you patience. You learn that people often reveal more through hesitation than words. I had started noticing the same thing in my own family years ago, though I didn't always know what it meant. Emma usually waited for me after school in the clinic's small reception area with a coloring book spread across her lap. She liked drawing birds, even though they never looked like real birds. They always had oversized wings and bright purple feathers. "I think birds should look happier," she once told me. I smiled every time I remembered that. She had inherited optimism from somewhere. It wasn't from my side of the family. My parents lived less than 40 minutes away in the same house where my younger brother, Daniel, and I had grown up. The white siding had faded over the years, but my mother still polished the brass mailbox every Saturday morning. My father still raked leaves into perfect piles, even when the wind scattered them again an hour later. From the outside, everything looked steady. Inside, things were different. We had become experts at avoiding uncomfortable conversations. After my divorce 3 years earlier, those conversations became even shorter. My parents had always been polite to Emma. That was the word everyone used. Polite. They bought birthday cards. They remembered Christmas presents. They asked whether school was going well. But affection has a warmth that politeness can't imitate. Emma noticed it before I wanted to admit it. "Grandma hugs Aunt Lisa's kids longer," she whispered one Christmas while putting on her coat. I told her she was imagining things. I've replayed that moment more times than I can count. Children often notice what adults spend years explaining away. 2 days before Thanksgiving, my mother called while I was sorting laundry. "You'll be here at 1, she said. It wasn't really a question. Of course, I answered. There was a pause. Long enough that I looked at the phone to make sure the call hadn't dropped. Then she asked, "It's just you coming, right?" I frowned. "What do you mean?" Another pause. I assumed Emma would spend Thanksgiving with her father this year. The washing machine hummed behind me. I glanced toward Emma, who sat on the living room floor building a cardboard castle from old shipping boxes. She was laughing to herself. "No," I said carefully. "She'll be with me." Silence. Not surprised silence. Disappointed silence. Then my mother cleared her throat. "We'll discuss it when you get here." The call ended less than 10 seconds later. I stood there holding the phone long after the screen went dark. Something about her voice stayed with me. Not anger. Not frustration. Certainty. As if a decision had already been made. And no one had thought I needed to be part of it. The drive to my parents' house had always taken about 40 minutes. That morning, it felt longer. Emma sat beside me with a paper grocery bag resting on her knees. Inside was the pumpkin bread we had baked the night before. She had insisted on wrapping it herself with orange ribbon that refused to stay tied. "It looks fancy," she'd said. The ribbon was already slipping loose. I left it alone. Some things didn't need to be perfect to be sincere. The closer we got to my parents' neighborhood, the quieter I became. Emma filled the silence by naming every dog she spotted through the window. She gave each one a different personality. "That one's a teacher. That one's definitely late for work." I laughed. She had a way of making ordinary things feel lighter. I wish I had held on to that feeling a little longer. When we pulled into the driveway, my father's truck was already there. So was my younger brother Daniel's SUV. Several other cars lined the curb. The house looked exactly as it always had before Thanksgiving. Fresh wreath on the front door. Pumpkins on the porch. Smoke rising from the chimney. From the outside, it looked like every family holiday I'd known growing up. Inside was another story. The front door opened before I reached it. My mother, Margaret Bennett, 62, had been an elementary school principal before retiring. She believed every problem could be solved with enough organization. Even now, every strand of her silver blonde hair sat perfectly in place. She smiled. The kind of smile meant for neighbors. Not daughters. "You made good time." Then she looked at Emma. "Oh, hello, sweetheart." Emma stepped forward and held out the pumpkin bread. "We made this together." Mother accepted it politely. That was thoughtful. She placed it on the kitchen counter without unwrapping it. I noticed 3 homemade pies already cooling beside the window. The bread disappeared into the corner. I filed that away. My father, Richard Bennett, 65, had spent nearly 40 years managing a regional construction company. He wasn't an emotional man. He believed providing for a family mattered more than expressing affection. He hugged me. He patted Emma gently on the shoulder. "Growing fast," he said. Emma smiled. She always accepted whatever affection people offered. Even when it wasn't much. In the living room, my younger brother Daniel waved from the couch. Daniel was 34 and worked as a financial advisor. Numbers made sense to him in ways people often didn't. He was charming when he wanted to be and careful with almost every word. Beside him sat his wife, Lisa, 32, a pediatric dentist with effortless confidence. Their children, Owen, 8, and Sophie, 6, were racing toy cars across the hardwood floor. Emma stood watching them. "Can I play?" she asked. Owen shrugged. "Sure." The 3 children disappeared upstairs within seconds. It seemed normal. At least at first. While I helped in the kitchen, small moments began stacking together. Lisa poured apple cider into glasses. She handed one to Daniel. One to my father. One to my mother. Then 2 more for her children when they came downstairs. She reached for another glass. Stopped. Looked at Emma. "Oh." She glanced toward my mother. Margaret quietly opened the refrigerator and handed Lisa a juice box instead. "Emma likes these." No one said anything. Emma accepted it with a smile. She probably didn't notice. I did. Tiny things have weight when enough of them collect. The kitchen smelled of roasted turkey, rosemary, butter, and cinnamon. Pots steamed on every burner. My mother moved from dish to dish with practiced efficiency. She corrected where serving spoons belonged. She adjusted folded napkins. She straightened candles by less than an inch. Everything had its place. Everything except, I was beginning to suspect, my daughter. Around noon another car pulled into the driveway. My father looked out the window. "He's here." I followed his gaze. A dark sedan rolled slowly to the curb. The driver stepped out carrying a neatly wrapped bottle of sparkling cider instead of wine. He wore a charcoal overcoat despite the unusually warm November weather. "Who is that?" I asked. "My attorney," my father answered. "He'll be joining us this year." I blinked. "Your attorney?" Daniel answered before my father could. "Family friend." His tone ended the conversation before it began. The man walked inside moments later. "My goodness," my mother said warmly, crossing the room much faster than she'd moved to greet me. "It's wonderful you could come, Mr. Harrison." He smiled politely. "I'm happy to be here." He appeared to be in his early 60s, neatly dressed, with calm gray eyes that seemed to notice everything without lingering too long. When he shook my hand, his grip was firm. "You must be Claire." "I am. And this is my daughter, Emma." He bent slightly until he was eye level with her. "It's nice to meet you, Emma." She smiled. "You too." Unlike everyone else, he spoke to her as though she belonged in the room. It was a small thing. But I noticed. Physical therapists spend years reading body language. People reveal themselves in moments they assume no one sees. When Mr. Harrison stood back up, I caught my mother watching him. Not with friendliness. With nervousness. She quickly looked away when she realized I'd seen. I didn't know why. Not yet. But for the first time that day, I had the unmistakable feeling. That Thanksgiving wasn't simply a family dinner. Someone had invited a witness. The older I get, the more I believe families don't change overnight. They become who they are, one small decision at a time. Looking back, I can see those decisions much more clearly than I could while I was living through them. As a child, I thought my parents treated Daniel and me differently because we had different personalities. Daniel was outgoing. I was quieter. That explanation worked for years. Until it didn't. Growing up, Daniel's accomplishments always seemed to arrive with applause. When he made the honor roll, my parents framed the certificate before the week was over. When he got his driver's license, my father surprised him with the used pickup truck he had been restoring in the garage. When he graduated college, my mother hosted a party so large that neighbors wandered over just to see what the celebration was about. When I graduated from physical therapy school, we went out for dinner. There were 5 of us. My mother apologized halfway through the meal because she had forgotten to make a reservation. At the time, I told myself it didn't matter. I should have questioned why I was always the one making excuses. After college, Daniel married Lisa within a year. Their wedding filled an old country club ballroom with white roses and live music. My parents paid for nearly everything. My father called it an investment in family. A few years later, when I married Ethan, my parents contributed what they described as what we could comfortably manage. It wasn't the money that stayed with me. It was the language. Daniel received investments. I received budgets. The difference seemed small. It wasn't. Then Emma was born. She arrived on a rainy Tuesday morning after 23 hours of labor. She had dark hair, curious gray eyes, and the loudest cry in the maternity ward. My father visited the hospital that evening. He held her for less than a minute before handing her back to me. "She'll grow into those lungs," he joked. My mother stayed longer. She folded baby blankets, organized flowers, adjusted the hospital room until everything looked neat. But she rarely held Emma. I convinced myself she simply wasn't comfortable around infants. Then, 2 years later, Owen was born. My mother retired early so she could watch him 3 days a week. I remember standing in her kitchen one afternoon while Emma colored at the table. Photographs of Owen covered the refrigerator. His first smile. His first haircut. His first steps. Emma tugged gently at my sleeve. "Where's my baby picture?" I looked. There wasn't one. Mother noticed me looking too. "Oh," she said casually. "I've been meaning to update those." She never did. Little moments like that accumulated quietly over the years. Too small to confront. Too frequent to ignore. After my divorce, the distance became even harder to explain. Ethan and I had ended things peacefully. No betrayal. No scandal. Just two people who slowly realized they wanted different futures. Emma stayed with me most of the time. Her father remained involved, and we made it work. It wasn't easy. But it was honest. My parents never criticized my decision directly. Instead, they became formal. Phone calls became shorter. Visits became less frequent. Invitations often included phrases like, "if you're free," or, "if Emma has other plans." I accepted those words without examining them too closely. Work kept me busy. Emma kept me grounded. Life moved forward. Until one afternoon about 6 months before that Thanksgiving. I had stopped by my parents' house after work to drop off medication my father had accidentally left in my car. The front door was unlocked. I stepped inside and heard voices from the dining room. Daniel and my parents were talking. None of them knew I was there. "I just think things should stay simple," Daniel said. Mother answered quietly. "They will." Then my father spoke. "Claire doesn't need to know every conversation we have." Something in his tone made me stop walking. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I simply froze. There was a brief silence. Then Lisa asked, "What about later, when everything has to be divided?" My father's chair scraped across the hardwood floor. "We'll handle it." Mother added softly, "Emma complicates things." My stomach tightened. I waited for someone to explain what she meant. No one did. A moment later, I made enough noise closing the front door that everyone heard me arrive. When I entered the dining room, the conversation ended instantly. Daniel smiled too quickly. "Hey, Claire." My father thanked me for bringing his medication. My mother asked whether I wanted coffee. No one mentioned what I'd overheard. Neither did I. I wish I had. Instead, I carried those 4 words home with me. Emma complicates things. I turned them over in my mind for months. Complicated what? Holiday plans? Family schedules? Something else? Every time I thought about asking, I talked myself out of it. Maybe I had misunderstood. Maybe there was another explanation. That's the thing about uncomfortable truths. We often help hide them by giving people the benefit of the doubt. Standing in my parents' kitchen that Thanksgiving afternoon, I watched my mother carefully count dinner plates before setting them on the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then she stopped. There were 9 people in the house. She looked at the stack of remaining plates, closed the cabinet, and walked away. I stared at the dining room table. 8 place settings. 1 chair still leaned quietly against the wall. Unused. Waiting. I suddenly knew exactly whose seat had been left out. And I realized it hadn't been an accident. For a few seconds, I stood in the doorway between the kitchen and the dining room, hoping I had counted wrong. 8 plates. 8 glasses. 8 folded napkins. 8 name cards. My mother had started using handwritten place cards a few years earlier because she said they made holidays feel more organized. I read them one by one. Richard, Margaret, Daniel, Lisa, Owen, Sophie, Claire, Mr. Harrison. That was all. There was no card for Emma. The extra dining chair remained against the wall, angled slightly toward the hallway as though someone had moved it out of the way instead of forgetting to bring it in. It looked intentional. Because it was. I heard footsteps behind me. Emma came into the room carrying the small paper turkey she had made upstairs with Sophie. "Mom," she whispered with a smile, "look what we made." The construction paper feathers were glued on unevenly. One had already fallen off. "It's beautiful," I said. She followed my eyes toward the table. Her smile faded just enough for me to notice. "Where do I sit?" Children ask simple questions. Adults are the ones who make them difficult. Before I could answer, my mother walked in carrying the bowl of mashed potatoes. She set it down in the center of the table and adjusted it by less than an inch. Only then did she look at Emma. Oh. Just one word. Calm. Measured. Practiced. She turned to me instead. "Claire, could we speak for a moment?" I already knew what she was going to say. I followed her into the kitchen anyway. She closed the swinging door behind us. The sounds of laughter from the living room became muffled. "Mom," I began, "there are only 8 places." "Yes. And?" She folded a dish towel before answering. "We thought it would be easier this way." "Easier for who?" She sighed, as though I were asking about the weather instead of my daughter. "For everyone." I stared at her. "I don't understand." She finally met my eyes. "This is a family Thanksgiving." I waited. Surely there was another sentence coming. There wasn't. I spoke carefully. "Emma is my family." Mother looked down at the counter. "I know how you feel." No. She didn't. "But after your divorce," she continued, "things became different." Different. It was another one of those words. Words that sound harmless until someone hides behind them. What exactly is different? I asked. She hesitated. Then she said the sentence that has echoed in my mind ever since. "She doesn't deserve a seat at the family table." The room became strangely quiet. Not because there wasn't noise. The dishwasher hummed. Someone laughed in the living room. The oven timer beeped softly. But my mind had stopped hearing any of it. I looked at my mother, searching for some sign that she regretted what she'd said. There wasn't one. She honestly believed it. I spoke more quietly than I expected. "She's 7. Mother crossed her arms. "She's not a Bennett." I blinked. "What?" "She carries Ethan's name." I almost laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was impossible to believe. "You've known her since the day she was born." Mother didn't answer. Instead, she said something even stranger. "Some traditions matter." I realized then that this conversation hadn't started today. It had started years earlier. I just hadn't been invited into it. The kitchen door opened. My father stepped inside. He looked from me to my mother. "I assume she knows." Mother nodded once. Father rubbed his forehead. "It doesn't have to become a scene." "A scene?" I asked. "You just told me my daughter doesn't belong here." "No," he corrected gently. "We're saying this dinner should remain for direct family." I looked at him. "I am your daughter." "You are. And Emma is my daughter." He looked away before answering. "That's more complicated." There was that word again. Complicated. The same word I'd overheard months before. I suddenly remembered every forgotten birthday photo. Every shorter hug. Every polite smile. Every missing picture on the refrigerator. None of it had been accidental. Emma had never truly been accepted. Not once. The kitchen door opened again before I could speak. Mr. Harrison stepped inside carrying an empty pitcher. "I'm sorry," he said politely. "I was looking for more iced tea." He stopped. His eyes moved from my mother's face to mine, then to my father. No one spoke. The silence explained more than words could. "I can come back," he offered. "It's fine," my father replied too quickly. Mr. Harrison gave a small nod. As he turned toward the refrigerator, Emma quietly appeared in the doorway. She looked directly at me. Not at the adults. Just at me. "Mom?" Her voice was almost too soft to hear. Did I do something wrong? Every instinct in me wanted to kneel beside her and tell her none of this was real. That adults sometimes made mistakes. That we'd laugh about it one day. But children know when they're being lied to. Before I could answer, Mr. Harrison slowly looked around the room. Then his eyes settled on the dining table beyond the doorway. He counted the chairs. His expression changed. Just slightly. Enough for me to notice. He looked back at Emma. Then at my parents. Finally, in the calmest voice imaginable, he asked one simple question. "There are 9 people in this house." He paused. "Why is there only one child without a place at the table?" No one answered. And for the first time all afternoon, someone outside the family had noticed what everyone else had chosen to ignore. No one answered Mr. Harrison. For a moment, the only sound in the kitchen was the steady hum of the refrigerator. My mother reached for the serving spoon beside the mashed potatoes as if she suddenly remembered something important. She didn't use it. She just held it. My father cleared his throat. "It's a family matter." Mr. Harrison remained where he was. He didn't argue. He didn't raise his voice. He simply looked toward the dining room again. I thought this was a family gathering. His tone wasn't accusing. It was curious. That somehow made it harder to ignore. Emma shifted closer to me and slipped her hand into mine. Her fingers felt cold. I squeezed them gently. "We're leaving," I said. The word surprised even me. I hadn't planned them. They simply arrived. My mother looked up immediately. "Claire, don't be dramatic." I almost smiled. For years, any disagreement had been labeled dramatic before it even happened. "I haven't been dramatic," I replied. "I'm taking my daughter somewhere she's welcome." My father stepped forward. "People are already sitting down. Then they can start without us. They'll ask questions." I looked at him. "They should." The kitchen fell quiet again. Daniel appeared in the doorway, drawn by the silence. "What's going on?" No one answered him. Lisa came a few seconds later, carrying a basket of warm rolls. She looked from one face to another before noticing Emma's expression. "What happened?" Again, silence. Sometimes silence tells the truth before people do. Mr. Harrison finally set the empty pitcher on the counter. "I don't mean to interfere," he said. "But I accepted an invitation to Thanksgiving, not to witness a child being excluded." My mother folded her arms. "You don't understand the situation." "Then explain it." "It's private." He nodded once. "I see." There was no sarcasm in his voice. Just acknowledgement. He reached inside his coat pocket and removed a pair of reading glasses. For a second, I thought he was looking for something to read. Instead, he tucked the glasses into his shirt pocket and looked directly at my father. "We've known each other a long time, Richard." "We have. I've never seen you make a decision like this." Father's expression hardened. "This isn't business." "No." Mr. Harrison glanced toward Emma. "It's much more important than business." No one moved. Eventually, my father sighed. "Let's eat." He walked into the dining room. One by one, everyone followed except Emma, Mr. Harrison, and me. The room suddenly felt much larger. I looked down at Emma. "Get your coat, sweetheart." She nodded without asking why. That hurt more than if she had cried. She already understood enough. As she walked toward the front hallway, Mr. Harrison spoke quietly. "Claire." I turned. "I know this isn't my place." "It isn't," I admitted. He accepted that without offense. "But..." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "Before you leave, I think you should see something." I frowned. "What do you mean?" He glanced toward the dining room to make sure no one was listening. "When your father invited me today, he didn't tell me I was coming only for Thanksgiving." I waited. He asked me to bring several family documents. My stomach tightened. "What documents?" "I'd rather not discuss them here." "Why?" "Because I don't think everyone in that dining room knows they exist." His answer landed heavily. I remembered the conversation I'd overheard months earlier. "When everything has to be divided, we'll handle it. Emma complicates things." Those words suddenly felt connected. I just didn't know how. Mr. Harrison continued in the same calm voice. "I left my briefcase in the guest room. You brought legal papers to Thanksgiving. They were requested. By my father." "Yes." "For what?" "I'm afraid I can't answer that." Professional boundaries. I recognized them. I respected them. But I also knew people often reveal what they don't intend to. "You looked surprised when you saw the table." I was. "You didn't know about Emma?" "No." His answer came instantly. "I assumed every member of your family had been invited." I studied his face. There wasn't even a hint of deception. Whatever my parents had planned, he hadn't expected this part. Emma returned wearing her small blue winter coat. She carried the leftover pumpkin bread in both hands. "Can we take this home?" she asked quietly. I swallowed. "Of course." She smiled politely. The same polite smile my parents always gave her. Children learn by watching. Sometimes they learn the wrong lessons. I reached for my purse. Before I could pick it up, Daniel hurried into the hallway. "Claire, wait." I stopped. He looked uncomfortable. More uncomfortable than I'd seen him in years. "You don't have to leave." "I think I do." He lowered his voice. "Mom didn't say it the right way." I stared at him. "The right way?" He rubbed the back of his neck. "It's just..." He searched for different words. "There are reasons." "What reasons?" "I can't tell you." "Why not?" His eyes shifted toward the guest room. Toward the room where Mr. Harrison had mentioned his briefcase. Then back to me. "It isn't time." Time. Another strange word. Not never. Not nothing. Not you're mistaken. Just. It isn't time. I had spent years accepting incomplete answers. Standing there with Emma's hand in mine, I realized I was done doing that. As I reached for the front door, something unexpected caught my eye. The guest room door hadn't closed completely. Through the narrow opening, I could see the corner of a black leather briefcase resting beside the desk. A cream-colored folder was sticking out just enough for its tab to be visible. In neat typed letters, it read, Bennett Family Estate. And beneath it, someone had handwritten a single name in blue ink. It wasn't my father's. It wasn't Daniel's. It wasn't mine. It was Emma's. I stopped with my hand on the doorknob. For a second, I wondered if I had read the folder incorrectly. The guest room sat at the end of the hallway. Afternoon sunlight reached across the hardwood floor, stopping just short of the doorway. The briefcase remained open exactly as Mr. Harrison had left it. The cream-colored folder was still visible. Bennett Family Estate. And beneath it, in unmistakable blue ink, Emma Bennett. Not Emma Carter. Not Emma Collins. Not Emma with her legal last name. Someone had written Bennett. I blinked twice. There had to be an explanation. There usually was. But none came to mind. Claire. Daniel's voice pulled me back. I looked away from the folder before he could follow my eyes. I'll call you later, he said. I don't think you will. He didn't argue. That told me almost as much as anything else had. Emma tugged gently at my sleeve. I'm ready. I nodded. We stepped onto the front porch. The November air felt colder than it had an hour earlier. Behind us, I heard chairs scraping against the dining room floor. Someone was asking who would carve the turkey. Someone else laughed. Life inside the house continued as though nothing important had happened. I backed out of the driveway slowly. Emma watched the house through the passenger window until it disappeared behind a row of maple trees. For several miles, neither of us spoke. Finally, she looked at me. Was Grandma mad at me? Children don't ask questions because they expect complicated answers. They ask because they hope the answer is simple. I kept my eyes on the road. No. Then why couldn't I sit with everyone? The truth was, I didn't know. Not the real truth. I think Grandma and Grandpa made a very bad decision. Emma looked down at her hands. Did I make them sad? No. I answered so quickly that she looked up. You didn't do anything wrong. She nodded once. Then she turned back toward the window. I liked Mr. Harrison. So did I. He talked to me. Such a small sentence. Such a painful one. That evening, after Emma fell asleep, I carried the untouched pumpkin bread into the kitchen. The orange ribbon had finally come undone. I cut myself a slice. It tasted exactly as it had the night before. Warm spices. Brown sugar. A little too much cinnamon because Emma had insisted on adding an extra spoonful. I couldn't finish it. My phone buzzed just after 9. Daniel. I let it ring. A minute later, he called again. Then he sent a message. Please answer. I stared at the screen before picking up. Hello. His voice sounded tired. You made things harder. I almost laughed. Harder for who? For everyone. No, Daniel. Mom made things harder. He exhaled slowly. You don't understand what's happening. Then explain it. I can't. There it is again. What? I can't. It's complicated. It isn't time. Everyone keeps saying the same thing. Silence. Then he spoke more quietly. Did you see anything before you left? The question made my heart beat faster. What do you mean? The guest room. He knew. I chose my words carefully. I walked past it. Another pause. Did you look inside? A little. What did you see? I leaned against the kitchen counter. A folder. He didn't interrupt. My daughter's name was written on it. His breathing changed. Just enough for me to notice. You weren't supposed to see that. So it was real. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. For nearly 10 seconds, neither of us spoke. Finally, Daniel asked, "What exactly did the folder say?" I answered honestly. Bennett family estate. And Emma's name. He whispered something under his breath that I couldn't make out. Then he said, "Don't tell anyone." I frowned. Anyone? Especially Mom. I straightened. Daniel, why would I hide something from Mom that she already knows? He didn't answer immediately. When he finally spoke, his voice had changed. Less confident. Almost worried. Because I don't think she knows that you know. The sentence settled heavily between us. Daniel. Yeah. Why is Emma's name on estate papers? I wish I could tell you. Could. Not would. Could. There was a difference. I signed something, he admitted quietly. My grip tightened around the phone. What did you sign? I thought I was helping Dad. What did you sign? I didn't read everything. I closed my eyes. You're a financial advisor. I know. You signed legal papers without reading them. I trusted him. His voice cracked for the first time. I trusted Dad. I thought back to Mr. Harrison. His surprise at the dinner table. His careful answers. His obvious discomfort. None of it fit with a simple estate plan anymore. Daniel, I asked, when did you sign them? About 6 weeks ago. And Mr. Harrison prepared them? I think so. You think so? I only met him once. That wasn't what my father had implied. He had introduced Mr. Harrison as an old family friend. Something else wasn't adding up. Before I could ask another question, Daniel spoke again. Claire. What? If Mr. Harrison contacts you. He stopped. What? Listen to him before you listen to anyone else. The line went quiet. Then the call ended. Not disconnected. Ended. I stared at the phone for several seconds. The house around me felt unusually still. The dishwasher had finished its cycle. The wall clock ticked steadily. Upstairs, Emma was asleep, completely unaware that adults were building mysteries around her name. I walked into the living room and sat beside the window. Rain had started falling. Thin, steady drops slid down the glass. Then, just before 10 o'clock, headlights swept across my driveway. A dark sedan came to a stop outside my house. I recognized it immediately. It belonged to Mr. Harrison. He remained in the driver's seat for a full minute. Then he stepped out, holding the same black leather briefcase. The porch lights switched on automatically as Mr. Harrison walked toward my front door. He wasn't carrying an umbrella. By the time I opened the door, small drops of rain covered the shoulders of his charcoal coat. I'm sorry to come this late, he said. It's all right. May I come in for a few minutes? I stepped aside. Of course. He paused long enough to wipe his shoes on the mat before entering. It was such an ordinary gesture that it made the evening feel almost normal. Almost. I offered him coffee. He accepted. While the kettle warmed, he stood quietly in my kitchen, looking at the framed photographs on the refrigerator. There were pictures of Emma's school art projects, a photo from our trip to Lake Erie, and a faded snapshot of me holding her on her first birthday. He studied that one for a second longer than the others. She seems happy, he said. She usually is. He nodded. I'd like to help keep it that way. I placed 2 mugs on the table. You said you wanted me to listen before I listened to anyone else. A faint smile crossed his face. So Daniel called. He did. I'm not surprised. Neither of us touched the coffee. The briefcase rested on the chair beside him. Closed. Locked. I need to be careful, he began. I'm still bound by attorney-client privilege. I understand. But there are times when professional responsibility and personal conscience aren't perfectly aligned. I waited. He chose every word with the same care my patients used when taking their first steps after surgery. Richard hired me 8 months ago to revise his estate plan. My father. Yes. What changed? He said he wanted to simplify the distribution of family assets. That sounded harmless. Too harmless. He instructed me to prepare several versions before making a final decision. Several versions? That's common. I nodded. So what does that have to do with Emma? His expression grew more serious. Everything. The room suddenly felt smaller. I can't disclose the contents of confidential documents. But I can tell you something that isn't confidential. He folded his hands together. The final version I drafted. He looked directly at me. Was not the version your father signed. I frowned. I don't understand. Neither did I. He reached into his coat pocket and removed a small leather notebook. I keep written records after important client meetings. He opened it carefully. I'm allowed to discuss my own observations. He slid the notebook across the table. One page had been marked with a yellow tab. The handwritten entry was dated 6 weeks earlier. I read silently. Client requested equal treatment for grandchildren. Client confirmed no exclusions. Revision approved. Below that was another note. Final signing postponed. I looked up. Equal treatment. Yes. Grandchildren. Correct. I felt my pulse quicken. My father said that. He did. Then why? Because the document that was eventually returned to my office wasn't the same one. I stared at him. What are you saying? I'm saying. He paused. The signature appeared genuine. But the pages attached to that signature were different. The words settled slowly. Different pages. Same signature. I leaned back in my chair. You're talking about forgery. I'm saying I became concerned. Concerned enough to come here tonight. Yes. I looked toward the staircase where Emma was sleeping. Why didn't you say something immediately? I couldn't. Because of confidentiality. Partly. And the other part. He looked tired. Because I didn't have proof. Rain tapped softly against the kitchen window. Neither of us spoke for several seconds. Finally I asked, who had access to the documents? Your father. Anyone else? They were collected from my office by someone your father authorized. Who? He hesitated. I can't answer that directly. You just said you're here because of your conscience. I am. Then help me. He took a slow breath. I'll answer a different question. I frowned. What question? If you asked me whether your father personally picked up the documents. He stopped. My answer would be no. My mind immediately went to Daniel. But something didn't fit. Daniel had admitted signing papers. Not collecting them. So someone else. He gave the smallest nod. I believe so. At that moment, a floorboard creaked upstairs. Emma. She appeared halfway down the staircase wearing her pajamas, rubbing one eye. Mom? I stood. What is it? I heard voices. It's okay, sweetheart. She looked toward Mr. Harrison. "Oh." He smiled gently. "I'm sorry if we woke you." She smiled back. Then she walked into the kitchen and climbed onto my lap without saying another word. Children know where safety feels. Mr. Harrison watched quietly. After a moment, Emma looked at him. "Were you sad today?" The question caught both of us off guard. He smiled softly. "A little. I was too." "I know." She leaned against my shoulder. "My grandma said I don't belong." Mr. Harrison lowered his eyes. When he looked back up, they were noticeably different. Not angry. Heartbroken. Very quietly, he said something I don't think he had planned to say. "I've read enough documents to know that paperwork can change almost anything." He paused. "But it can never change the truth." Emma frowned. "What truth?" He looked at me first. Then back at her. "The truth." His voice was barely above a whisper. "Is that someone has spent years making sure you never knew exactly who you are." The room fell completely silent. Before I could ask what he meant, his phone rang. He looked at the screen. His expression changed immediately. "It's your father." He didn't answer. The phone rang again. And again. Then a text message appeared across the screen. He read it. Closed his eyes for a brief moment. I could tell something had shifted. "What is it?" I asked. He looked at me. "Richard knows I came here." I felt my stomach tighten. "How?" Mr. Harrison slowly turned his phone toward me. The message contained only one sentence. "You told Claire too much." Mr. Harrison didn't respond to the message. He locked his phone and placed it face down on the kitchen table. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Emma was still leaning against my shoulder. She had fallen quiet again, tracing circles on the sleeve of my sweater with one finger. I brushed a strand of hair away from her face. "It's late," I said softly. "Why don't you head back to bed? I'll come tuck you in." She nodded. Before leaving the kitchen, she looked at Mr. Harrison. "Will you still be here?" He smiled. "For a little while." "Okay." She disappeared upstairs without another word. I waited until I heard her bedroom door close. Then I turned back to him. What did my father mean? Mr. Harrison folded his hands together. "I believe he assumed I would remain silent. And you didn't. I haven't disclosed confidential documents. But you've confirmed something is wrong." "Yes." I took a slow breath. "Then I need to know the rest." He looked at the staircase before answering. "I can't tell you everything. I've heard that before." "I know." His voice remained calm. "But I can tell you where the answers are." He reached into his briefcase. Instead of legal papers, he removed a small white envelope. It wasn't sealed. He slid it across the table. "This belongs to you." I looked at it without touching it. "My name isn't on it." "No." There was only a handwritten address. Safe Deposit Box 214. Underneath it was the name of a local bank. "What is this?" "A key receipt." I looked up. My father rented a safe deposit box. He did. When? Almost 11 years ago. 11 years. Emma was 7. The timing didn't seem connected. At least not yet. What's inside? I honestly don't know. You've never seen it? No. But Richard specifically instructed me that if anything ever caused a serious dispute within the family. He paused. I was to make sure you received that receipt. I frowned. My father told you that? Yes. Then why didn't you give it to me earlier? Because, until today, I believed the dispute was only about money. His eyes met mine. I don't believe that anymore. I picked up the receipt. The paper had yellowed slightly around the edges. It had been sitting somewhere for years. Waiting. I slipped it into my wallet. Thank you. He nodded. I think you'll need it. The next morning, I dropped Emma off at school as usual. She smiled before climbing out of the car. Can we have pancakes for dinner? Absolutely. She waved and ran toward the building. She looked like every other second grader crossing the parking lot. Backpack bouncing. Shoelace untied. Completely unaware that adults had built an entire wall of secrets around her life. I watched until she disappeared inside. Then I drove straight to the bank. The building was older than I expected. Dark brick. Brass door handles polished from decades of use. Inside, everything was quiet. A woman at the front desk greeted me with a professional smile. How can I help you today? I placed the receipt on the counter. I need to ask about this. She adjusted her glasses. I'll need a moment. She disappeared into a back office. When she returned, she wasn't alone. The branch manager introduced himself as Michael Reeves, 53, a former accountant who spoke carefully and never seemed rushed. He invited me into his office. I understand you have questions about safe deposit box 214. I do. He studied the receipt. May I ask your relationship to Richard Bennett? He's my father. He nodded slowly. I was expecting that answer eventually. The sentence caught my attention. Eventually. Mr. Bennett left very specific written instructions. My heartbeat quickened. What instructions? If he passed away, became legally incapacitated. He glanced at another document. Or if a licensed attorney confirmed a family dispute involving the contents of the estate. He looked up. This receipt could be presented by one individual. Me? He nodded. You. I stared at him. So I can open the box? I'm afraid not. Why? Because there's one final requirement. Of course there was. What requirement? The attorney who verified the dispute must be present. Mr. Harrison. Correct. I let out a slow breath. When can we do that? If he's available today. I thanked him and stepped outside. Before I reached my car, my phone rang. Daniel. I answered. Hello. His voice sounded strained. Mom knows you went to the bank. I froze. How? I don't know. I haven't even been inside an hour. I told you things were moving too fast. What are you talking about? He lowered his voice. Claire, they're coming. Who? Mom and Dad. To my house. Yes. For what? They think Mr. Harrison gave you something. I looked down at the receipt still in my hand. They're right. Daniel was silent. Then he said quietly. Whatever happens. He hesitated. Don't hand it over. The call ended. I stood beside my car, staring across the parking lot. At that exact moment, a dark pickup truck turned into the bank entrance. I recognized it immediately. My father's truck. My mother was in the passenger seat. They hadn't come by accident. They were looking for me. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one who intended to leave with the answers. I stayed where I was. For years, my instinct had been to avoid conflict. If a conversation became uncomfortable, I usually found a way to end it politely. Not that morning. My father parked a few spaces away. Neither he nor my mother got out immediately. They sat in the truck for several seconds. I wondered if they were deciding what to say. Or what not to say. Finally, my father opened the driver's door. My mother followed. She walked toward me first. Her posture was as straight as ever, but her expression was different. Not angry. Uneasy. "Claire," she said. I waited. "We need to talk. I've been trying to do that for years." She glanced at the bank behind me. "Not here. I think here is exactly the right place." My father joined us. "Did Harrison give you something?" There it was. No greeting. No apology. Just the question. I looked at him calmly. "Why does it matter?" "Because those documents belong to me." I didn't mention documents. His jaw tightened. That was answer enough. Before either of us could say another word, another car pulled into the parking lot. Mr. Harrison stepped out. He carried no briefcase this time. Only a thin leather folder. He walked toward us at an unhurried pace. "Good morning," he said. No one answered. The branch manager, Michael Reeves, came outside a few moments later. He looked from one face to another. "I believe everyone has arrived." My father frowned. "What is this?" Mr. Reeves spoke professionally. "Mr. Bennett, the conditions outlined in your written instructions have been satisfied." My father's expression changed. "What instructions?" "The instructions you signed 11 years ago." My mother turned sharply toward him. 11 years. He didn't answer. Mr. Reeves continued. "A verified family dispute exists." He nodded toward Mr. Harrison. "The designated attorney is present." He looked at me. "And the named individual has presented the receipt." For the first time since I'd arrived, my father looked genuinely shaken. I never expected. "No," Mr. Harrison interrupted quietly. "I don't believe you did." We followed the manager through a secure hallway into the bank's vault. The room was colder than the lobby. Metal boxes lined the walls. Everything echoed. Mr. Reeves unlocked box 214. He removed a long steel drawer and placed it on a small table. "I'll give you privacy." He stepped outside. No one moved. Finally, Mr. Harrison nodded toward me. "It's yours to open." My hands felt strangely steady. Inside the box were only a few items. A sealed envelope. A small stack of photographs. And a worn leather journal. Nothing else. No jewelry. No cash. No property deeds. Just paper. I picked up the envelope first. Across the front, in my father's handwriting, were 6 words. "To be opened by Claire only." I looked at him. "Did you write this?" He nodded. Years seemed to settle onto his face all at once. "Read it," he said. I opened the envelope carefully. Inside was a single handwritten letter. The first lines made me stop breathing. "Claire, if you're reading this, then the truth stayed hidden longer than I hoped." I looked up. "What truth?" "No," my father said quietly. "Keep reading." My eyes returned to the page. 7 years ago, I discovered that changes had been made to my estate documents after I signed them. I looked immediately at Daniel. He stared back in confusion. I didn't. "I know," my father said. His voice was calm. "I know now." I kept reading. The changes removed Emma completely. I never approved that. My hands began to tremble. I turned another page. I believed I knew who was responsible. I was wrong. The room was silent except for the sound of paper. I reached the final paragraph. The person responsible wasn't trying to steal money. They were trying to erase someone from this family. I slowly lowered the letter. My mother had gone completely pale. She wasn't looking at me. She was staring at the photographs inside the box. I picked them up. The first showed Emma as a baby in the hospital. The second showed my father holding her. He was smiling. Really smiling. I had never seen that photograph before. The third stopped me cold. It showed my mother standing in the nursery beside Emma's crib. Written across the back, in faded ink, were the words, "Our first granddaughter." I turned it over again. The date matched Emma's birth. I looked at my mother. "You called her your granddaughter?" Tears filled her eyes. "I did." "Then why?" She covered her mouth. I was ashamed. Ashamed of what? She looked at my father before answering. "I believed the lies." "What lies?" She closed her eyes. "When your marriage ended." Her voice broke. "Someone convinced me that Emma wasn't Ethan's child." I stared at her. "What?" "They said you had an affair." The words sounded unreal. "I never." "I know." She was crying now. "I know that now." My father spoke quietly. "I ordered a DNA test." The room fell completely still. I looked at him in disbelief. "You what?" "I never told you." "No." I took a sample from myself. My mind raced. "Why would you?" His eyes met mine. "Because if Emma was truly my granddaughter." He swallowed. "I wanted proof that no one could ever take away." I felt dizzy. "The results?" He reached into the journal. Folded inside was a laboratory report. He handed it to me. Across the final page were the words, "Probability of biological grandparent relationship, 99.99%. My father looked at Emma's photograph. "I spent 7 years trying to understand who started the lie." He turned slowly toward my mother. "And yesterday." His voice was heavy but steady. "I finally learned who did." Everyone followed his gaze. My mother's face crumpled. Very quietly, she whispered, "It wasn't me." Then she looked toward the vault entrance. Toward someone standing just outside the open door. "Daniel." "No," he said under his breath. Behind him. Lisa lowered her eyes. Everything suddenly made sense. The polite smiles. The missing photographs. The quiet comments. The careful exclusions. Lisa looked at no one as she said the words that ended every remaining doubt. "I only wanted my children to inherit everything." The silence that followed was deeper than any argument. Justice had arrived. Not through anger. Through evidence. No one spoke for several seconds. The bank vault, with its rows of steel boxes and concrete walls, suddenly felt smaller than the silence between us. Lisa never looked up. She kept her eyes on the floor. Daniel stood beside her as though he no longer recognized the woman he had married. Finally, he asked the question I couldn't. "What did you do?" Lisa took a slow breath. "I heard Richard talking about updating the estate." Her voice was barely above a whisper. "I knew the grandchildren would be treated equally." She paused. "I didn't want that." Daniel stared at her. "So you changed the documents?" "I couldn't do it myself." She shook her head. "But I knew when your father asked you to pick up the paperwork from Mr. Harrison's office." Daniel closed his eyes. "I picked them up. And I left them in my car overnight," she finished. "I borrowed the folder while you were asleep." The words came out without emotion. Almost as if she had rehearsed them. "I found someone willing to replace the pages." My father leaned against the table. He suddenly looked much older than 65. I trusted my family, he said quietly. Lisa nodded. I know. You let me believe my own daughter had betrayed me. I was afraid. No. He shook his head gently. You were greedy. She didn't argue. Because she couldn't. Every piece finally fit. The altered documents. The rumors about Emma. The missing photographs. The quiet distance. The empty chair at Thanksgiving. None of it had happened by accident. It had been built one decision at a time. Daniel looked at his wife. For 7 years. His voice broke. You let my niece think she wasn't wanted. Tears rolled down Lisa's face. I'm sorry. He nodded once. I believe you are. But being sorry doesn't undo what you did. Those were the last words he said to her that day. The legal process moved much more slowly than the emotions did. Mr. Harrison submitted his records. The laboratory report became part of the case file. The altered estate documents were examined by handwriting and forensic document specialists. The conclusions were clear. The pages attached to my father's signature had been substituted after he signed the originals. The forged version was declared invalid. My father's original estate plan was restored exactly as he had intended. Equal. Fair. No exclusions. Lisa eventually accepted responsibility in a formal statement. There was no dramatic courtroom confession. No shouting. Just evidence. Facts. Dates. Records. The truth didn't need to be louder than the lies. It only needed to be stronger. Daniel filed for divorce several months later. He told me it wasn't because of money. It was because trust, once broken that completely, had nowhere left to live. The hardest conversation came a week after Thanksgiving. My parents came to my house together. Not because I invited them. Because they asked. Emma answered the door before I reached it. She looked at my mother for a long moment. Then she quietly stepped behind me. My mother noticed. I could see it hurt. She deserved to feel that hurt. We sat around the same kitchen table where Emma and I had baked pumpkin bread. This time, the bread was fresh. Emma had insisted on making another loaf. It's better with extra cinnamon, she announced. My father smiled. A little extra cinnamon seems to help a lot of things. Emma giggled. It was the first genuine laugh anyone had heard in weeks. My mother looked at her. I owe you an apology. Emma listened. I treated you as if you didn't belong. She wiped away a tear. I was wrong. Emma thought about that for a moment. Then she asked the kind of question only a child would ask. Does that mean I can come next Thanksgiving? My mother's shoulders began to shake. Only if you'll let me save you the seat beside mine. Emma looked at me. I nodded. She walked over and hugged her. It wasn't a perfect ending. Some things can't be repaired in a single afternoon. But it was a beginning. And sometimes beginnings are enough. The following Thanksgiving felt different. Not because the house had changed. The brass mailbox still shined. My father still raked the leaves into neat piles. My mother still straightened the napkins before everyone arrived. Some habits never disappear. But one thing was unmistakably different. Before anyone else sat down, my mother carried one chair to the head of the children's side of the table. She placed a handwritten card in front of it. Emma. She checked it twice. No one had to remind her. When Emma arrived, my mother took her hand. I've been saving this seat all morning. Emma smiled. So no one else can take it? Never again. Mr. Harrison joined us that year as well. When dinner was served, he looked around the table, smiled quietly, and picked up his fork. This time, everyone ate. As we passed dishes around the table, I realized something I hadn't understood for years. Family isn't defined by the stories people invent. It isn't protected by silence. And it certainly isn't measured by an inheritance. It's built every day through honesty, kindness, and the courage to make room for the people who should never have been left standing. I looked at Emma laughing beside her grandparents. The empty chair was gone. So was the lie that had surrounded it. Some truths arrive like thunder. Ours arrived with one saved seat, and stayed.